Manila was breathing differently that night. Inside the Smart Araneta Coliseum, history echoed off the concrete walls. The same building that once carried the ghosts of Ali and Frazier, now hosting a new chapter, under the banner of Thrilla in Manila. The crowd wasn't just loud. It was alive, vibrating with anticipation, waving flags, chanting names, carrying the weight of national pride on their shoulders. This wasn't just another fight card. This was a homecoming, a proving ground, a statement night. From Thailand came Aran Dipaen, a hardened road warrior forged through battles across Japan, Russia, and the United Kingdom. A man who once stood 8 rounds deep with Naoya Inoue and refused to break. Across the ring stood the pride of Ifugao, the undefeated wonder boy, CarlJammesMartin. Only 26 years old, yet already seasoned beyond his years, a professional since his mid-teens, carefully guided, patiently developed, and now standing on the edge of world contention. Ranked, respected, and dangerous, Martin entered with 20 knockouts, and an entire nation expecting dominance. But boxing never hands out guarantees. As the lights dimmed and the ring walk began, the music thundered, cameras flashed, and the roar swelled to a fever pitch. You could feel it, the tension between youth and experience, hunger and survival, ambition and resilience. The referee gave his final instructions, the bell loomed, and 2 paths collided in the center of the ring. This wasn't just about winning. This was about legacy, about answering the unspoken question that hangs over every rising star: what happens when things don't go according to plan? From the opening bell, Martin made his intentions clear. Calm, composed, southpaw stance firmly planted, he began carving space with his jab, testing Depayn's reactions, probing the guard, measuring distance like a surgeon before the incision. Depayn, orthodox and patient, didn't bite early. He stood just outside range, shoulders high, eyes sharp, willing the younger man to lead, to commit, to make the first mistake. The early rounds unfolded like a chess match wrapped in violence. Martin stepping in behind that stiff right jab, spearing Depayn's body with straight lefts, ripping hooks into the ribs and liver whenever the opening appeared. Every combination ended the same way, not upstairs but downstairs, a deliberate investment in future damage. The crowd responded to every thudding body shot with a collective gasp, understanding the strategy unfolding before them. Depayn absorbed it all, countering sparingly, firing straight right hands down the middle whenever Martin lingered too long. There was no panic in the Thai veteran's movements, only calculation. He had been here before, he had felt power before, and for now, he was still standing. Martin's footwork was economical, not flashy, his confidence obvious but measured. He was building it. Yet beneath the surface, there was tension, because Dipaen wasn't folding. He wasn't retreating. He wasn't showing the wear Martin expected. As the early rounds closed, the story wasn't dominance, but control. Martin leading, Dipaen surviving, and the question quietly forming in the minds of everyone watching: how long can experience withstand youth when the body keeps taking punishment? Then came the moment that froze the arena. Early in the third, as Martin pressed forward with growing confidence, he stood just a fraction too square. His feet misaligned, his balance compromised for a heartbeat, and that was all Depayn needed. A sudden counter caught Martin flush as he leaned in. Not a thunderous blow, but clean enough, sharp enough, timed perfectly. Martin went down. The sound inside the Araneta shifted instantly, from roar to disbelief. He popped back up quickly, smiling even, signaling he was fine. But the damage wasn't physical, it was psychological. For the first time, Martin had been reminded that this was real, that patience had consequences, that experience bites back. The referee's count echoed through the building, and suddenly the fight had changed. Depayn had drawn blood, not with power, but with timing and composure. Martin responded the only way a champion in the making could, by fighting back with fire. The rest of the round exploded into exchanges, Martin charging with renewed urgency, ripping shots to the body and head, determined to erase the embarrassment in front of his home crowd. The knockdown would score the round for Depayn, a 10-8 swing that tightened the fight and shifted momentum. But it also ignited something deeper inside Martin. This was the first true adversity of his career on home soil, and how he responded would define not just the fight, but the man. From the 4th through the 6th, Martin turned the fight into a test of endurance. He hunted Dipaen relentlessly, cutting off the ring, changing angles, stepping around the front foot, and hammering the body with cruel consistency. Left hands dug deep into the midsection, uppercuts split the guard, hooks slammed into ribs already tender from earlier rounds. The crowd sensed it, the momentum shifting back, the tide turning in waves of violence. Dipaen's legs slowed, his counters lost snap, his guard tightened as the assault mounted. Still he refused to go. Every time it looked like the end was near, Dipaen fired back, a right hand here, a defiant exchange there, reminding everyone that this wasn't a stepping stone, but a fight. Martin's confidence grew with every unanswered shot. He began sitting down on punches, daring Dipaen to return fire, shaking his head after counters, signaling he felt no danger. Yet the finish never came. The bell repeatedly rescued Dipaen, and with each escape, the story deepened. This wasn't about knocking a man out anymore. This was about breaking his spirit. And Dipaen's spirit would not break. As the championship rounds approached, a strange dynamic took hold. Martin, clearly ahead on the cards, began to chase the knockout with increasing urgency. His combinations widened, his balance faltered at times, and Dipaen found opportunities to counter off missed shots. The veteran, battered and bruised, somehow found a second wind. He stood his ground, exchanged in the center of the ring, even stole moments with clean right hands that reminded Martin of the danger still present. In the 9th, another knockdown was scored, controversial, balance-related, but official, evening the ledger of knockdowns and reinforcing how unpredictable the fight had become. The crowd roared, not just for Martin, but for Dipaen's refusal to surrender. This had become more than a showcase. It was a war of attrition, a mutual test of pride. Martin wanted the statement finish. Dipaen wanted survival and dignity. Both men were running on fumes, but neither backed down. By the 10th and final round, reality set in. Martin, breathing hard, recalibrated. The knockout wasn't coming. Dipaen was too tough, too seasoned, too stubborn. So Martin boxed smart, jabbing, controlling space, landing clean shots without overcommitting. Dipaen continued to fire back, landing enough to remind everyone he was still present, still dangerous. The crowd stayed on its feet until the final bell, understanding they were witnessing something rare. A rising star being pushed, tested, and forced to grow in real time. When the bell finally rang, both men stood, exhausted, bruised, but unbroken. The scorecards told the story clearly. Unanimous decision for CarlJammesMartin, still undefeated. But the numbers couldn't capture the full truth. This wasn't just a win, it was an education. Martin learned that power doesn't guarantee endings, that patience matters, and that durability commands respect. Dipaen walked out without a victory, but with his reputation intact. A warrior who traveled the world, faced champions, and never folded. On a night branded by history, both men added their names to Manila's enduring fight legacy. The Wonder Boy remained unbeaten, but more importantly, he emerged wiser.